everyone, it's Zara at Collapse Life. With just hours left in 2023, today we thought we would showcase a few things we're looking forward to in 2024. We have some amazing guests lined up for this podcast in the new year, and we just wanted to give you a little preview of what's coming up in January. First of all, Matt Smith, an entrepreneur and the co host of a podcast with the legendary Doug Casey, joined us to talk about how to think about and how to prepare for a very uncertain future.
I think if COVID taught you anything, it's that when you're dependent on centralized systems at all, if you're dependent on, a single source for your food from a grocery store or two grocery stores, if you're dependent on, a doctor to help you, and they require, or if you're, for surgery or whatever, and you have to be vaccinated to go. I mean, if you're dependent on a single employer for your income, and if you choose not to go along with something, then you could lose your job. It made clear that there's a real need for these parallel systems. And parallel systems are just ways you can go about getting what you need in your life without having to rely on these centralized services. And in the US, this is one of the problems with the US, is it's so optimized for efficiency and productivity that it makes it really fragile. It makes it so that really every individual is deeply dependent upon a remarkable set of things all coming together at the right moment to deliver exactly what they want to their front door.
If you haven't already discovered Matt and Doug's podcast, I highly recommend it. Just search for Doug Casey's Take on your favorite video or podcast platform. Doug and Matt are also working on a new book in 2024, looking at how young people can build critical skills without going to college or joining the military or taking on a dead-end job. Matt's son Maxim is somewhat of a guinea pig for this project, so if you want to learn more and follow along in the progress, you may want to check out his blog and podcast at greatman.com. Next, we had an amazing chat about the disinformation industrial complex with Paul Thacker, an investigative journalist who's been reporting on corruption in science and medicine for decades. In the next clip, Paul talks about a story he wrote for the British Medical Journal in 2021, showcasing concerns about the COVID vaccine clinical trials. His reporting was focused on Brooke Jackson, a whistleblower who worked with a contractor that helped run some of Pfizer's clinical trials.
So what happened is I got contacted by the BMJ to do this investigation, and I'd heard some rumors that there was something going on. There was some whistleblower, and I didn't really know what was going on, but they commissioned me to write it. I've written quite a few investigations while I was in the Senate, and so I got contacted to write the piece, and they started sending me all these documents and secret recordings that Brooke had done, documents she created, screenshots of stuff. And I just kind of started going through it. And I remember at the time I told my wife, because I know how these things work. And I was like, I'm going to go into a pit for 2 weeks. I've just got a lot of stuff I got to go through and, make sure all this stuff is right. And my wife asked me, she's like, well, which vaccine is about? And I was like, it was the Pfizer one. And she's like, that's the one we got. And I was like, oh shit, I'd totally forgotten that that was the one we got. And it wasn't that we had a choice. It was just the way Europe worked is they were buying vaccines and Pfizer was the one they got. So and I just, my wife's a doctor and I'm a man. So you listen to your wife, like most men do for medical advice. You do what your wife tells you to do, right? I mean, most doctors know that you want this guy to take his heart medication, call his wife up and tell him he's got to do it, and then he'll listen. And plus your wife's a doctor, so it makes everything easy. It's like, what do I do?
Paul's Substack, The Disinformation Chronicle, is essential reading if you want to better understand how corporate disinformation shapes our world. Check it out at disinformationchronicle.substack.com. We're also super excited to welcome Dr. Matthias Desmet to the Collapse Life podcast in coming weeks. He came on to talk to us about mass formations and how they form and the characteristics of the specific formation we find ourselves in right now. But more importantly, he talked about antidotes to mass formation, truth and sincere speech.
There should be only one organizing principle, and it is the fact that we love each other and we love the other because the other has his own opinion and because the other has the right to speak in his own way. And we are all a unique string that should resonate with the eternal music of life in a unique way. That's what when we are really a human being. And if we realize that and we continue to speak out as a singular human being in a brave way, but not in a violent way, not trying to convince the other, then that is the condition under which propaganda makes no chance, under which under which we will go through this tipping point where the masses who are in the grip of propaganda, even the most powerful propaganda machine the world has ever seen, become at the psychological level less strong than the group who unifies on the basis of this principle of sincere speech.
Dr. Desmet told us he's also working on a book about this subject, and that is definitely something we're excited about in 2024. Follow him on Twitter and Substack to hear more about it. So what are you looking forward to in the coming year? Let us know in the comments, and also tell us about any books or podcasts or movies you think we should be looking into, and any guests you'd like to see on future episodes. We would love to hear your thoughts. As we bid farewell to 2023, we just want to wish everyone a very happy new year, and again, say thank you so much to all our readers and subscribers for all your encouragement, and a warm welcome to all of you who are new to the show. A special shout out to our paid supporters. Without you, none of this would be possible. We're so glad to be on this journey of discovery with all of you, and we can't wait to see what the next 12 months have in store. Until then, don't forget to keep your chin up. It's only collapse. See you soon.